There is a bill up for debate in California that would literally remove basically parental rights from parents as soon as your kid turns 12 years old. And they will put the power over your kids into the hands of health officials, psychologists inside the kid's school. If the child decides, according to this bill that's up for debate, that they want to go into a group home for mental health counseling, they can do that without any assessment from the parent, without any approval from the parent, as long as that school administrator says, this is a great idea. Okay, so they told us they aren't coming for our kids. And then over the weekend, we saw this parade. Remember what they were chanting? Watch. So, folks, you can't dismiss them now as misfits and loons that are just chanting random things like they're coming for our kids. You have to believe them. These misfits and loons now roam the halls of state legislatures across the country, first and foremost out in Sacramento, California. This provision that they have in here basically ends parental rights at 12 years old, giving the power to your kid and some school administrator who could be a stranger. This is Senator Wiener. Senator Wiener has every bad idea that comes out of California. If he's involved with it, it's bad. I promise you, listen to him.
This bill protects children. It makes children safer. It makes children healthier. And it's unfortunate that this bill, like so many, has been caught up in this right-wing outrage machine that it's like every 12 hours they need another issue or another bill or something that's completely made up to feed this just absolutely false moral panic that people are running around trying to steal people's children.
It literally is stealing people's children. To my producer, I got to throw a little monkey wrench in here. I want to put up the copy of the bill right here. I got in a debate with a very dear friend of mine over this. They couldn't believe that this was actually true. The copy of the bill reads, okay, and it says here that the mental health treatment or counseling of a minor authorized by this section shall include involvement of the minor's parent or guardian. Here's the key. Unless the professional person who is treating or counseling the minor, after consulting with the minor, a 12-year-old, by the way, determines that the involvement would be inappropriate. That means as long as the counselor says we don't want the parents involved, there's no parents involved. He wants to talk about moral outrage. You're coming for my kids. You're going to let a 12-year-old decide? My son's 14. He doesn't even decide what sports he plays yet. He doesn't even get to decide whether he gets dessert at the end of dinner, much less go into a group home and leave his parents behind. If there is serious issues with abuse in any kid's home, then I want that investigated by the state, but every parent deserves due process. This takes due process away from the parents. So now you talk about stranger danger. It used to be a creep on the street. Stranger danger now is some creep psychologist in your kid's school that's going to rip your kid away. And by the way, this bill says you don't even have to notify the parents. You're left thinking, where is my kid? Doesn't come home from school. Can you imagine the stomach-churning reality of that? This, folks, gives me some little semblance of hope. This is a California Democrat attorney speaking out against this bill.
This bill permits a counselor to decide if a child 12 or older is mature enough to be placed in a facility away from his parents without any claim of abuse or indication that the child is in danger. This bill is state-sanctioned kidnapping.
That's an attorney. It's a Democrat. If you don't believe this is real, and this is the problem with so many what I call uninformed Democrats across the country. They don't believe this stuff is happening. They don't believe it could be really true. They have so much faith in government that they would think our government would never steal kids from us. The moment you realize you can no longer trust government and government is willing to lie to you, just as the media is willing to lie to you, your entire perspective on the world changes. Open your eyes here. So all of this is an expansion of a 2012 law signed by Governor Schwarzenegger back in the day that gave mental health care rights to kids at 12 years old without their parents' consent. So you could give them mental health care in school. Parents should be involved in everything. So how did that work out? They were so concerned about child suicide. Well, between 2000 and 2010, there were 82 suicides of minors in California. Between 2010 and 2020, you now had 106